Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Communities Choice Awards reveal. And I'm super happy Cantino could join today because we said we're doing the reveal, and then also we collected some of the most asked questions in the Builders Club over the last weeks, and we will go through some of them, and then we'll take your questions. Cantino, how are you doing today? Oh, we can't hear you. You're muted. No, still muted. Oh no, technical difficulties. It's all right. Please bear with us. I'm sure people are still joining anyways. I can see your mic is muted. I don't know if maybe, in the command thing at the bottom, you can maybe change it.
How about that?
Yes. Now, yay.
Yeah, excited because obviously we've been doing incubator now since May was when we started, when Pop launched, and then we had our first cohort, and they have killed it. And we have these these thriving little groups where we're keeping each other accountable through the Builders Club. We have 12 groups, micro communities that post weekly updates. It's a pretty intense program. It's like a lot of accountability and a lot of business development happens. We've been hearing every week from companies that are receiving investments or making hires or sharing some resources or team members across each other. So it's driven a whole lot of value. And the Community Choice Awards is just a way for us to really reward people that have kind of showed up and built in public amongst each other in Pop and in the group. We do that through a cash prize, which I think is super exciting. Raph and I have been working behind the scenes with Mikey and Buzz and everyone on the team to think about what the Community Choice Award looks like next year. So thank you for submitting your surveys. If you haven't done that yet, there is a link and we'll recirculate it. Special shout out to Caitlin, who has just been smashing it since she came on board. But without further ado, I think we can just talk a little bit about the program and what we're excited coming up next and start announcing the winners.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So we're keeping it a bit longer. And so for obviously we all met at Art Basel last week, and for everybody who could be here, it was so nice to see you in person. It's wonderfully seeing your updates every week, but seeing you in person was really, really cool for me. And yeah, so we've been thinking a lot about how we can improve the program for next year, what we can do even better, and we are still waiting for some of the surveys to come in to make final decisions. But yeah, so what can I share yet? Or do you want to go first?
How did we decide what the Community Choice Award would be comprised of, and how do people select those companies? I think that's important to understand.
Yeah. So I think the idea for the Community's Choice came already in the summer, right? Because we realized, okay, we had these 200 applications for the incubator, so many really great applications, and we, wanted to, give back and do something for the rest of the community that we couldn't fund through the incubator. And so then the criteria was really to, first of all, we had 2 rounds of votes, right, with the Community's Choice Awards. So the first was people submitted their applications, and then within the mastermind groups, people voted people voted from 2 other mastermind groups which startups they liked best, and they had 3 votes. So that's how we narrowed it down to the final 10, which we all know now, and which we will hear today, which of these final 10 made the first 3 spots. And these first 3 spots were really voted for by the whole community. So we put a vote out wide open for everyone in the community to vote. We actually realized that we might not have been clear enough to say that actually only community members were allowed to vote. So we had a few votes from people outside of the community, and we cleaned these votes away, because this is really a Community's Choice Award from Pop members for Pop members. And so outsiders were not allowed to vote in this choice this time.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we were thinking about maybe for the next one, we could just use snapshot.org which is really kind of just token permission voting, which I think would help that as well. But yeah, the top 10 competitors are really, not, I wouldn't even say competitors, but collaborators. It's a really, really strong group of people. And I think that reflects like the amount of talent in pop, and kind of the way that we came together was to say, like, we really want to assemble kind of like the finest minds, the builders, the people who are really ambitious to get together in one place and share resources. And that first started with the incubator, right? But to your point, we had 200 submissions, and we're like, almost had kind of an oh shit moment where we said, why would we just only choose, five companies and really rally behind them when we have the resources and we have the skills and communities to bring value to like all 200 of those applicants, right? So getting them in these mastermind groups that you and Caitlin have assembled has been the by far, I think, the biggest value in pop. Like, if you really want to be take your business or your idea to the next level, to get resourced, to get networked, even to find like investors, like no matter what stage you're at, if you're just kind of in the idea stage, that's okay. If you're pre-seed, if you like have revenue, like we actually will pair you up with like-minded people. And we're excited to make some improvements to that process too with the next round of Builders Club. But I want everybody to know who's watching this, like, you can get involved today. And I think that that's something we haven't done a great job communicating, is that at any point, if you want to join pop and get in the Builders Club, like, you could do that. And so we have a pretty simple form that you fill out. The best way to do it right now is just to DM Caitlin, and that's Blue Sun Caitlin in the chats. And then we'll do, with the new website you've seen, we're going to have a whole section that has like all the Builders Club like benefits and kind of links laid out and make it a little more user friendly. So expect that to come soon too.
Yeah. And I think we will share very soon how the next cohort of the Builders Club will look like. We're making quite a few drastic changes. We really learned from this round. We got all of your feedback. So I think we can improve a lot. It's, you never build something and you're perfect from the outset. That's we're as much builders as everybody else here, right? And I think very eager to learn and do an even better and much better program next year and for the next cohort. And that everybody is again welcome to join, and we hope you will join us on the journey again. Yeah.
How many companies are in the Builders Club? I'm looking at this graphic from Caitlin. There's like 80.
Yeah. I think at the beginning we even had 105, but of course
wow.
we had some drop off over the last 3 months. But yeah, it's and what I like the best is that they're all from all different sectors, right? We have security companies, we have DAO tooling, we have NFT projects, fashion metaverse projects, like across the whole board. And it's so cool to see everybody going their unique ways, but also like helping each other, facilitating a lot of knowledge for each other. So that's been cool. I actually was going to say before we go further, if you have questions or you want to say anything, I think today you can post it best in the Builders Club chat, so that we see, your questions, or if you don't understand anything, or you just want to share something. So yeah, please post it in the Builders Club chat, and then we will pick up your questions or suggestions or whatever you wish to share.
Another good thing we should mention is that even if you're not a builder, you're not a company, but you still want to kind of support what we're doing, you can do that by signing up to be a mentor, to be like a resource person, to even be like a product tester. We've had, I think, like over 150 applications just to even test product, right? So if you want to be like involved in the betas some of these companies are putting out, giving them advice, helping them kind of refine the product before it's launched and before they actually come to market, by giving pop all our unique benefits and early access, you could do that too. There's also a form for that, and we'll circulate that in the Builders Club today.
Yeah, cool. So shall we come then to our Community's Choice Awards?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So unfortunately, like all 10 finalists, are fantastic, fantastic ideas, fantastic builders behind it. We can only fund 3 this time, and the third place will receive $5,000 The second place will also receive $5,000, and the first place will receive 10,000. So all three, I think, will go, with some additional funding to make the next extra step. So I think that's exciting. And I think these three battled hard. They all are actually very active in the community, each of them. So you will know them. They are, three very different projects, which I think is also very cool. To see that the community didn't just choose 3 NFT projects or 3 DeFi projects. It really went for 3 very different ones, which is cool. Yeah, what else can we say about them?
I think that all 3 have been kind of day one companies as well in Pop, which I think is a cool. And it was really neat to see kind of like the marketing kind of really go this last couple of weeks while people try to get their last minute votes in and everything. And I would say that probably the ones that were most successful in getting interest were ones that were like pretty transparently always sharing updates within Pop, within the group, which is a little bit different than your average NFT collection that kind of discourages kind of promotion or, shilling as we call it, because these companies really, this is the place literally where it's designed to give you support as a builder and to help you build in public to gain that first kind of audience, those first customers, first marketing support and feedback group. So yeah, these 3 companies really represent ones that kind of went above and beyond, and all 10 did, and everyone who submitted really has done a great job of this. But these 3 that came out on the top in particular have, really shown a light on their own companies and not been afraid to kind of toot their own horn a little bit. And I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's also partly why they got chosen, because I think, out of the 10, where all were pretty high quality and very good projects, people recognized the names of these founders, and so they were active. So I think, I obviously don't know, and we should probably ask what made people choose these 3, because we had a lot of people in the community vote for it. I think over 100 in the end. So I think definitely being active helped them to make the cut.
I feel like we need like a soundboard in here.
That's
going to bring the soundboard in, and we'll do the drum rolls and we'll get it going. And like, you should have an envelope and we kind of reveal it. We got to do that.
That would have been good. We have to improve our performance for the next time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's come to the third place. Like, imagine some imaginary drum rolls, and so third place goes to Siesta. Way.
Yeah.
So Siesta is a community by Michelle Laura. She is a fantastic builder, and it's a Latin dance community. So a DAO for people that enjoy dance, want to come together, go on events together, create events together, everything around that. And it's such a positive community, really strong spirit. And I'm a big fan of what they're doing. So I'm very glad that Siesta made the third place.
It's so cool, and it's such like a good, refreshing project for Web3 to like think about how communities born across like a common interest and have really kind of like an ethos and values within like a North Star can drive the project forward. It's not just like simply a product, it's really community based, and I think that's what makes this company particularly special.
Yeah, totally. So Michelle, I will be in touch afterwards to tell you how to get your prize, and I'm so happy for you. Many congrats, not just from me and Cantino, but really from the whole community chose you this time. So it's a really, really big achievement. Yeah, then Chris, do you want to do the second one?
Yes. Okay, this is a company that has multiple representatives that have been advocating for their cause for many months within Pop, and they're certainly some of the most active in the chats and the marketing chats and the Builders Club chats, you all probably know this company already. You'll probably be happy to hear our second place winner is Coin Coffee.
Way! So for those that don't know, Coin Coffee is a coffee subscription, but Web3 based. So it has a big community approach. It obviously has an NFT that allows you to be part of be part subscriber, part owner, part member of the project. So it's a very cool, very high quality coffee that I think Andre has also given out test accounts to people, and people, a lot of the people in the community have already tried, or at least provided testing to it, and just a wonderful idea. Also ships worldwide, if for anybody watching this and thinking, oh, I could use a coffee subscription.
Who can't use a coffee subscription?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in this 24/7 world of Web3.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, this is the big one. This is like the number one,
And now comes the absolute winner. And I must say it is one that is incredibly deserved. Somebody that has been active since before I joined even. I met yeah. I met the founder first time when I actually was interviewing, and I met, Chris and the team the first time at NFT NYC, and there was the CPG party, and he was already there, already building this startup. Has been incredibly such an incredibly how do you say, inspiration in the community, because he's really building so publicly and sharing so much, and also helping so many other people in the community from what he learns, and really shares a lot openly. So, and who is it? Spot one is Zealous. Way!
Yes! Gregarious!
Wow, love the sound effect. Love the sound effect.
Gregarious is someone that I, obviously have seen build in public from day one in Pop, and like you said, at NFT NYC and Art Basel, I saw him everywhere. I'm like, there's multiple. Like, I saw him at Pool Suite, I saw him at FWB, I saw him like on the beach, I saw him at a brunch. This guy's everywhere. That's exactly what you need to do with such a community focused product like Zealous.
Yeah, so really big congrats. I again will be in touch to tell you how to redeem your prize. You're winning $10,000. So that is super cool. A big vote also from the community for you as a builder for the project, and hopefully, I'm sure you will do the best and really accelerate the product, the project with that new funding.
Wow, that was like really cool. Those are three awesome companies. I want to give everyone the award.
Yeah.
And without saying too much, like, we are actually a big focus for us in 2023 is increasing the community choice award aspect of this, releasing more funds to go further to support all of the companies in our community as much as we can.
Yeah, so that's maybe one spoiler. We can say the community choice awards are here to stay. We want to, do rather more of it, because I think that was a really fun process, and I think really rewards the people not just building great products, but that are also very active in the community and helping others a lot. So I think here the incentives were very aligned, and it was really beautiful to see too. So really huge congrats to all three winners, also to all the finalists. I mean, being a finalist is obviously always sad that you didn't make the cut, but I mean, it's still a huge, accomplishment to even get into the 10 finalists out of 88 projects.
Well, I think we've got some really good questions that we collected over the last week or so. Just kind of think about like what makes a good submission, what's going on in the future of the program. So we're going to take time to answer some of those now. And if you have new ones, you can just go ahead and pop those in the chat too, and we'll do our best we can to get to answering those.
Yeah. So that would actually be great. Like, any questions you have, we're there now. I think One big common question that that we see is how do I leverage or like rally the CPG community behind my project? So this is really one that everybody's asking. And yeah, Chris, what would you say? What have, for example, the community's choice winners done in a particularly good way, or what is something you see that is very successful in that sense?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, well, we mentioned earlier that just kind of building in public is encouraged in these chats, but it's not always just asking necessarily for like who knows a developer, who knows a thing. I think it's okay to really show like this is a milestone we hit this week. Like we got our first customer, or we had this tweet and like it blew up more than we thought. Kind of demonstrating these little things that you do. Like anytime you have a win, it's the kind of thing you might put in your journal at the end of the day. It's okay to really bring those back into Pop too and share it and ask for support, point out what you do. And in the most successful instances, I think it's really ties back to this product. So with Gregarious and Zealous, for instance, he has a product that is literally transcribing calls just like this one and putting that product back in so people can experience that on their own terms. They can experience it with translations. They can, archive and they got access to this whole library of things. Kind of like a Web3 podcast and content audio video ecosystem is really cool. Obviously, that's really relevant to our membership, right? So if you're bringing more direct value to members, like allowing Pop to access this content on their own terms, that's one way that you can really kind of go just that extra step above and beyond just sharing your wins and having your own successes. But as much as you can communicate with the group and share what you do, that's what we love to see. So come back when you have your wins, share those in the chats.
Yeah, I actually think it's not just the wins. I think Greg has also been transparent about things that haven't worked, or that are hard. And I actually feel that, those builders that have been sharing also about the hardships have actually received a lot of sympathy because, I mean, no one has an easy time at the moment fundraising, for example. There's just not a single company out there where it's easy, right? And so I think for a lot of people hearing that for everybody, it is more of a struggle. They get more rejections than they would have done 6 months ago or than they thought they would get. Has been helpful for everybody. The same for like NFT drops that didn't sell out. We've seen, unfortunately, a few of those, right? But just sharing across the board that it wasn't just one company where that happened. It was just a market. So I think it's not just the wins. It's also about sharing the struggles along the way that really makes a good builders community.
Yeah, I think so too. And one of the other things we could point out is just kind of like the mandate for the incubator, I think really applies here. And one thing we just kept saying over and over again in the steering committee was, how does this really benefit our community? How does it really benefit the members of Pop? And so we selected some companies like Payroll 3, for instance, who have their royalty share mint coming up as well. Where you can like actually literally get a direct benefit from being a Pop member. You get exclusive access to those kind of products and projects and everything. So, I mean, this is Web3. Like if you've got, and Michelle did a great job of this too with Siesta and Andre with Coin Coffee. It's like you have an NFT, a token that you can kind of offer up to the community that represents like this common bond and this shared interest, whether it's access to coffee or to Siesta, to talking about the principles of rest and relaxation and taking space in this really busy world. Those are super important. So try to bring your product back into Pop, and I think you'll find out that people are really receptive to it, and that's our winners today reflect that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, maybe because no one's probably people are dazzled by their success or disappointed by not having made a cut, so we haven't received any questions, but I have obviously prepared in advance some of the questions really that have been asked the most. And I think one was like, okay, what would be your advice? And especially Chris, you're still actively investing, right? You're still angel investing at the moment.
Course,
so what would be your advice on fundraising strategy in the current market situation?
I think first of all, I wouldn't try to raise actively and officially right at this time during the holidays. It's always kind of like a lull. Um, we do think the market is going to pick up in early Q1. We're seeing valuations have kind of gotten priced back in, like the sort of crash is that valuations kind of came back to life, or I mean, like to reality, but they they went low, but I think it's all priced in. I don't think we're going to go lower from here. I think we're going to go up from here. I'm super encouraged by the quality of product that I'm seeing. Um, so I would really focus on, because this is an incredible opportunity and time to invest and time to build. It's probably, the biggest asymmetrical bet you can make right now to build a company with a like a realistic valuation at this point that could boom into like a thriving bull market to build products that people truly use in 5, 6, 7 years. Really astronomical upside. So I'm really encouraged by that, but I think to my point about like the stuff that we're seeing is such high, truly high quality innovative software applications, interoperable social wallets, products that are built in the blockchain, decentralized products that fundamentally promise true ownership and like advance of this technology and products that are really better for people, and um, making sure that you're, I think, focusing not so much on um, getting like that perfect pitch, and then in the network is like sometimes we focus a little too much on sort of building the presentation of the thing than we do actually building the real product itself. There are some like products that I've seen recently that they just scream opportunity. I would say like one, for example, is Token Proof, a product that has great adoption, that has promised to extend into all kinds of like adjacent spaces. Um, Finding product market fit was always their number one priority. Networking with the community, top communities in Web3 to get that product out there was the number one opportunity for them. They didn't spend all their time on calls trying to privately network to fundraisers. They just went out and built the damn thing. So focus on your product, and the rest kind of sometimes just falls into place. But we're also, like, I've been doing private kind of like deck reviews for people. I think that sometimes that kind of 10% of polish is meaningful, so if you have some materials you want reviewed by the team, or I mean just by pop in general, I would like literally try to bring those into the mastermind groups and bring those into Builders Club. I think that could be really helpful.
Yeah, I maybe have two additions to this. So I think in the bear market, VCs that manage other people's money are, of course, even more careful, right? Because they have a mandate from other people. So I think actually the angel strategy is the one I would focus on now, especially in Web3. The unique thing is that a lot of people, like quite a lot of companies, raise 5K from 100 angels, and it's absolutely not badly looked upon. It's actually a good thing because that means you have more supporters. And I think if I was to raise now, I probably wouldn't even go to VC. I would just focus on angel investors and do a big party round. Get as many good names and also as many no names as I can, and just have them put 5K in each, and be
That's
happy
smart.
with, yeah, be happy with a much smaller round than I would have gotten earlier this year. But just have that initial funding to get started, rather than spending half a year now speaking to VCs that are not going to invest anyways because they're all
Yeah.
scared and have mandates. So that's the one thing I would say. And the other thing on the valuation side that you said, it's true. Earlier this year, the valuations were crazy. So it was fantastic for those that raised then, but those times are over. So just, don't think about it. Take something much lower. And even, the valuations we're seeing now, which is like something like more around 7 to 10 million, for example, for a very early stage startup. I mean, that's still freaking good overall. Think about like you got a pitch deck and your company gets valued at 10 million. So I think you got to see things in perspective, and just because the valuations are lower now doesn't mean it will stay like that forever. So I wouldn't get hung up on it.
I know, and it's really like being scrappy right now and just raising like the kind of minimum you get to your product to like market to prove out that product market fit is so good, because you're just not going to dilute your company, and you know, over many years, and this is really going to be a multi-year kind of building situation for the generational companies that come out of this. If you had raised a year ago, it's really tough to kind of claw back from the astronomical valuation, then take a down round, have lost a lot of your equity, have to justify where the funds are going now. So a lot of companies are just kind of avoiding that next raise right now, because it's a precarious situation. So finding yourself in this kind of like bear market where you can build at a realistic price valuation and kind of almost bootstrap, minimally raise, not dilute yourself, is really, I think, the ultimate opportunity if you can get your product off the ground.
Yeah. And that actually leads us to our next question from our community's choice winner today, Gregarious from Zealous. And he's asking, 0 to 1 is the hardest part. And everybody's saying, how now is the time to build? Any tips for folks trying to get to 1 now before their next round?
I think the first thing is like knowing where you want to, what does 1 look like for you? Like, is 1 like a finished, like a product? What does it represent? Does it represent your unique skill set and something you're kind of directly qualified to build? Or is it just a giant moonshot? Are you going to leverage a huge team and raise a massive amount of money to do this like one big thing? Are you going to start with a niche product market fit and go from there? I think for 99% of us that are building, the first task is to build something like really achievable, to find very niche distribution, prove out your product market fit, and grow from there. And I think that also people like Gregarious and Michelle and Andre, they chose products that they're really, really uniquely suited to create. No one could do siesta like Michelle can do it. No one could do coin coffee like Andre could do it. And those are, the products of some people spending many years working on one thing, developing a passion, developing an ethos, to where kind of like the product that they're building is like slapped them in the face and said, well, this is so obvious. Like, you're the person to build this, right? So I think at the end of the day, being able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm building the thing that I am the right person to be in front of. That's the key thing in getting from 0 to 1. And sometimes just knowing that will kind of like tease out the rest of the path for you.
Yeah, I have maybe one slightly different aspect to that. So for me, always like getting from 0 to 1 means repeatable customers. Like, that customers are starting to come every month, no matter whether I have a big PR announcement or something like that. That's what it means to me. And getting to that point is a lot of work, right? You don't just have to have like an MVP at least, but you have to have found out or tested a few marketing channels. And most of the time you kind of have had to settle on one persona that you're going for. Because quite typically, there's multiple personas that this product could be interesting for, but once you get to at least at the beginning, the more niche you go and the more concrete you go after one target, the more likely you are to get these repeat purchases. And that's when when building really starts being fun, and you go from, oh my gosh, I'm shit scared and I'm gonna live under a bridge next week, to like, oh, I might actually be onto something. And so that's what is basically what I would focus on, what finding out who's that main customer persona, and what are the channels that work. And it doesn't mean that all of these channels need to be automated at that point. So it can be that you do a lot of things manually, like, for example, content marketing, where you really write articles each time, but they work, right? So okay, that is something where you can hire people and it's repeatable for the future. So it doesn't just mean like throwing money into Facebook, Google, or whatever, right? But having some sort of channel where you see, okay, that does bring actually customers on a repeat basis. So yeah, that is would be my 0 to 1, and what I would be focused on, like really just getting people that I don't know, that aren't friends, that haven't been referred by other people or forced by my family or whatever, like strangers, to actually buy my product.
Oh, I love that. That's so key, that repeatable like core revenue of your business that, forms the basis of everything that you could grow from there.
Yeah. Let's see. So there are some people that offer their help with pitches in the chat, which is wonderful. That's pretty cool. I think one other question that I have seen a lot, that I actually very excited to ask Chris, because you're obviously the NFT and community mastermind. We have a lot of people that build NFTs and communities. And a question we get a lot is, all of these people like you, sort of the influencers in the space, the people that can bring basically trust to a new project. And you get so overwhelmed with requests to endorse and support and advise new projects. So what can new projects do to get these partners and key people to gain awareness and trust?
Yeah, the thing is, like, I get literally probably 60 or so DMs a day, and like probably half of them are spam. And half of them are like, it's just kind of like a copy paste too. But there's always like a few every day that really stand out to me. And I think we've all heard the advice about kind of like be passionate and, be real, be concise, have like a very specific ask for people. I think those are all really important. Like, when you're reaching out cold to somebody, it's never easy. But the ones that are successful really have a direct ask and like an actual exchange of value too. Like, we talk about this a lot, where it's, you want to pick my brain, or you want to, market your stuff to the pop community, but what is the real unique benefit that you can bring to the table for these people? And really, if it doesn't represent a direct exchange of value, it's not going to be worth their time and their while, and it's not worth your while to pitch them, quite frankly, right? So I think, instead of thinking like, I'm going to message every top 100 influencer with a .eth username on Twitter or something like that, and hope it works out, that never works out. The one thing that works out is, making your top 10 list your true aspirational list, something that really represents not popularity, not somebody that you like. Well, it would be great to get an endorsement from Zeneca, right? Of course it would, but the one that was really successful in getting, we could take the Zeneca example, was Blur. Now, Blur started really early with the campaign, reaching out to people like me through my friends to offer opportunities to kind of, advise or invest in the company. Zeneca, as a trader, like a hardcore, like a deeply knowledgeable trainer, saw the opportunity and how he could actually make that product a little better, because he was so well suited of a partner for it. And, as someone who, I'm sure he gets dozens of DMs every day as well, it really took something that was like him, and it's so him to the degree that he's now hosting like weekly or very regular Twitter spaces to help get the word out about Blur and everything that Pac-Man's doing. But it started with really organic relationships with like, friends of friends. I think that's a good approach you can take too. Maybe you don't know Zeneca, you don't know, Raf or whoever, but you can see that you're connected to like a mutual friend. The value of like social networking, Twitter, the power of like a DM to advance your company or professional network is like unrivaled. It's the best. And that mutual friend filter is like probably your biggest like way of kind of getting in. So look for that. Be really selective. Don't spray copy paste to 100 people. Just choose like 5 or 10 people that you really truly want, that represent a benefit to your company, and go from there.
Cool. That's great advice. So, for example, can you share something you received today or yesterday that you thought was outstanding and why?
Well, let's see. I know I should like screen share my DMs. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, because I'm just wondering, because I mean, we get really, this question comes up so much, and now you gave the Seneca example, but I wonder, like, yeah, for example, for you, like, do people have to promise something for the CPG community, because is something you hinted at, or yeah, or is it something else, or is it really that they refer to common friends and you're like, okay, this is somebody I can trust, or
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of both. Like,
yeah.
my friend Michael was the one that introduced me to Blur, right? And he's a really trusted person. It's like when Michael DMs me, like I know he only DMs me the stuff that like is serious about, and I trust him, right? But then there's other relationships that come out cold, like Token Proof, for example. I was talking to one of their community managers, Pixelize, who works like all time on their product, and they were just kind of sharing. Really, I mean, this is like before Bored Apes used Token Proof. It was like before NFT NYC, showing super early stuff. And people, a lot of that came from, I was tweeting about loyalty programs a lot. And I think that a lot of people actually picked up on this kind of like loyalty, subscription, NFTs, things that I was tweeting about, and they're building something sort of in that range. And they just started DMing me like demos of their product. Like, Chris, I made this custom video, 2-minute video for you. Just check it out. I think this is the future of like subscription NFTs, product screenshots, so that I can kind of get a quick filter of like, okay, that looks like interesting or not. Anything that like has a little bit more of that personal like look at the product, I think is good. And if somebody says like, I literally made a video for you, like I'm not gonna like close the DM without watching the video, right? So I think like a loom is like a really super effective thing that you can kind of DM people in like a personal way. That was really effective in the incubator applications as well. But I think just going back to like, if you read my tweets about, subscription FTs and loyalty protocols and stuff, like, that I'm passionate about it, and have thought about it a lot. So using that as sort of like the base to get in the DMs and get the combo started is the best way to start.
Yeah. No, I think that's super good advice. And what I also like is, it's like basically these people know what you're passionate about. They checked out what you tweeted before, so it was fairly targeted. So I think that's the way as well. Like, and it's probably better to just have like three really well-known people that you actually get, rather than messaging hundreds and not getting a single response.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah,
100%.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Right. I mean, we have more questions that I prepared, but I think if no one, I want to really check with the communities, and if anybody has any questions, given we're here today, and if you want to ask anything today.
And we be available in the chats too. We'll also circulate a recording of all this for everyone too. Okay, well, I think we could wrap. This has been like a great conversation to celebrate all the builders, to answer some of like your most important questions about getting your startup off the ground. Raf and I have been talking about, like, we think that these kind of conversations could bring a huge amount of value, especially if they're like really interactive, where people can talk about things like marketing, going to 0 to 1, specific examples of their startups and kind of troubleshooting them. So we're going to commit to doing more and more of these office hours and these kind of Q&As over the, just the course of Pop, just as a benefit to members. So we'll be excited to like share more about that pretty soon too.
Yeah, and that's also been a big feedback from you guys already, that you would like, some more deep dives on things like marketing, or even bringing in experts on specific topics, where we really go very deep in one area of building in these calls, so that it really brings value to everybody who's building.
And one last piece we could share quick, Graph, is a little alpha for everybody who's tuning in now, is that we're about to announce our next town hall, and we're so excited. We're going to have updates from all the departments. We're going to really dive deep into the CPG rewards program. which is the next biggest and coolest initiative from CPG. So you'll see a poster and a date circulated pretty soon here.
Very excited for it. I myself don't know everything that's going to be said, so yeah, can't wait. Okay, cool. Thanks everybody for joining. Huge congrats to the winners again. I'll be in touch with now, and yeah, have a lovely rest of the day.
You too, Raph, and you know, you and Caitlin and everything that you do is changing like lives and companies and improving this space and making Pop the best place to build. So this is like really a direct reflection of, you know, your hard work and all the time you put in your skills. So special thank you to you as well, Raph.
Yeah, and thanks for joining, of course. This was much more fun with you, much more know-how than I could have brought alone. So, yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Then, yeah, have a good rest of the
Bye,
day,
everyone.
Bye.